Good morning, everyone, and welcome aboard. This is Delenn Russell, and I'm coming to you from Dadcrest73's Java Patreon server. So today we are standing in front of the sheep because it is time to move the sheep into the new sheep farm. So hopefully we'll be able to get them cooperating and then move on to another farm afterwards, but we shall have to see because everybody's got a little bit of a different way of doing things. Sometimes the sheep want to cooperate and other times they just want to go berserk. So we'll just have to see how things go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the music down just a touch because it's a little on the loud side. Yeah, that's a little bit too loud still. Let's try that. That's a bit better. Okay, so first thing I need to do is ditch some of the stuff from my inventory. I was trying to work on the big yellow pajama thing and making some progress, but I'm not happy with the shoulders, so I was in the process of ripping it out. Where did I put? Nope, that's not where I put it. But I will need some stuff in here. We're going to need some leads. Do I have any? Oh, I'm going to need some wheat. That'll work. And what else can I get rid of? You never know if I'm going to need ladders. Okay. Nothing else that I can't leave in the other box. So you can see we've gone with a relatively common style. We've got there's no hopper minecart rail thing going on underneath. I find those just really, really noisy. So I'm taking the risk that we might contribute to the slowdown on the server. But I'm going to... Good morning, Shinigami. Welcome aboard. Good morning, Brian, Stoner Miner. Just give me a second to get these things put away, and then we shall see if we can get a little bit of Shoutout City going, because you guys deserve it. Speaking of shoutouts... Oops, too much dirt. This stuff will work. Whatever, I'll just leave it there. Speaking of shoutouts this morning, we actually... Let's go with this one. And then this one? There we go. All right. And we also have an adventure coming up this weekend. We are headed to the Dadcraft Patreon server stream weekend. We actually have a new piece of art that that I did not get put in here, but we actually had the schedule set, and you'll see on Twitter that I've got the newer art up there. So do check that out if you want to know the exact times. And let's get, let's get right to it for the weekend. Sorry, seeing the poster just threw me for a second there. Okay, so first thing I can do is ditch this. And I'm going to need some dirt. Okay, I think we're ready to try and get these sheep in here. Let's see, let's start on the back corner. Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to like this at all, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Let's go this way. So I thought I was almost ready, and almost is the key because I just need to put in the trapdoors. Wow. Good morning, Dub Dynamite. How are you this morning? Let's see about this one. And hopefully you guys are doing well. I saw the cute little clip yesterday of Micro Dynamite or the Dino Nugget, and adorable as always, but also I'm surprised they're incredibly well behaved. Not very many streamers, young ones, are as well behaved on the server as yours, so that was really refreshing. Oh, right. I need to put something more than just trapdoors. Yep, no problem. If you have to work, that's really important for people to get things done. Okay. I just gotta put the dirt down, otherwise my sheep are gonna walk all over the place. And this is the one I don't need. So yesterday it was my turn to be more or less unofficial designated sleeper for one of our fine streamers. Max Money was on last night. I managed to catch his stream. I don't usually get the chance to catch Monday streams for people, just because that's when our scout group meets. So the kids and I have that going on Mondays, but I managed to luck out yesterday due to a holiday up here, and was able to catch some of his streams, so it was nice and refreshing for me to be the unofficial designated sleeper for a change, because that's quite often one of those things that I either forget or end up having one of our other fine friends do for me, so it's nice to return the favor once in a while. But I'm just thinking about that because it looks like we've probably got ourselves a thunderstorm somewhere. I haven't been bounced back yet, but yeah, I have not been bounced back yet, but looks like it's a little overcast, so probably some sort of nasty weather. Oh. I get so used to being in Savannah that unless I actually hear the thunder crack, I don't really notice as much till it's super dark or overcast or, yeah, a whole lot of other silliness. Okay. Oh, right. Might help if I actually have a gate in here, because I don't really want to take out the fence and have to fight with that every time. Apparently there was a zombie around. Alright. It's kind of amusing to me when I don't even notice that stuff happening. I guess it could be worse, maybe? Maybe, kind of, sort of? Alright. Just dump that zombie flesh and I'll dispose of it later. Alright, let's get ourselves a sheep. It's funny, where was I going with that? It's funny to me sometimes when I get, you can't talk this morning. So when I talked a while back about, thank you, a while back about being annoyed by the number of, I got an idea. Okay, when I talked about being annoyed by the number of messages in the stream, and then I go and give shoutouts like that, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people, and I can't blame them, because I just went and flooded my stream with useful information, but information that can make it more challenging for me to get anything done. Okay, there we go. No, not you. Well, if I lose one, I lose one. Whatever. Come on, sheep. Are you my volunteer, sir? You can come too. Thank you. Ouch. 6 days of storms. Yeah, here it's, as some of you may have seen, it is ruddy cold. Very, very cold. If we're talking Celsius, I think we're looking at like minus 26 or so. If we're talking Fahrenheit, we're looking at about like minus 15, and that's before you even start counting the wind chill with the real feel. So we're in the minus 30s in Celsius. Okay. Let's see if I can take this one. Oops. Yeah, that didn't help. Okay. 3. Oh, I've lost one. There we go. 4. Okay, you can get tied up there, and you can follow me. That was not smart on my part. Let's try this. There we go. All right. Are you going to come all the way in? Yeah. That's definitely really cold weather. It's not my cup of tea type of weather. All right. And then I go in here and I just shove this guy in. Come on. You can fall today. No. Okay, well then we'll do it the hard way. Okay, trapdoors don't work. Note to self. Alright, let's pull out that one then. Trapdoors after the fact, maybe? That would probably be a smarter move. There we go. Good morning, Mint Biscuit, and thank you very much for the follow. Welcome aboard. All right, let's see if we can get ourselves another sheep. Now that I'm in here. Right. Let's get myself back out of here. Blink. And this one. I don't need to clean up all the extra dirt along the way, but it makes it a little bit easier for me to get in if I don't have tons of dirt in the way. Or I should say me to get out, maybe. It's probably more accurate. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can get another volunteer. Hey, you. Would you like to volunteer for me today? That's it. Come on. And I just put myself in here. That's real smart. So much for that idea. Let's try this again. Okay, what did I do wrong? Pull this one out. There we go. Alrighty. That should get me a little bit better. Sir, come back this way. Yeah, you can follow me. If everything went perfectly smoothly, there would be something really, really wrong with this stream. You coming? And I did it again. All right. Let's see. Will you fall in on your own? No. Okay. Ah! No, you're going this way. 'Cause I said so. Yes, 'cause I said so. Are you coming? Really? Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't blame anybody for using smile and snicker emotes, because this is definitely annoying. You know, it's funny that we just had the of course we just had this conversation yesterday on online in a couple of different places, Discords and people's streams, that something like the sheep never ever want to work for and cooperate for people. And I was so confident in the method I use, which it still takes some pushing and shoving and wrangling and, you know, all that jazz, but it's kind of funny that it just so happens to be non-functional when I go to actually use it on stream. Actually, what I want, this one. I want my dirt down here. So I can't blame anybody for laughing, because it's a little ridiculous. There we go. Okay. Let's just go and get another sheep and lock him in. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of streamers this weekend. I'm going to try and see if I can actually keep up with being able to, no, yeah, I'm not doing that. Let's go this way. To see if I can keep up with, tweeting out who's on live. That would be a nice goal to have. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll be able to make it work, but We'll see. I'm also trying to catch more of the streamers this time than I did last time. Just, I'm not a morning person. Okay. I'm just not a morning person, and by not being a morning person, it meant that I was not super able to catch as many as I would have liked. Okay, I have more volunteers than I intended, but that's okay. Got 2 more volunteers. All right. We all, like sheep, have gone astray, each of us according to our own way. Yeah, I would definitely agree with the person you're quoting that from. Sometimes I spend more time astray than I do focused. I mean, I'm not sure if one would call that sheeping or squirreling, or maybe I've got a new crossbreed of squirrel sheep. I should ask Sheep Goon about that. See what she thinks. Okay. Oops, I did it again. Let's go like this. See if we can find where that 4th one went. Okay, you are my volunteer to stay behind. You're my volunteer to come with. You gonna come on down? It's not exactly the price is right, but I hope the sheep is right, huh? Okay, let's go up here. Gonna come? Maybe. Maybe not, right? Okay, we will block you in, but at least you're close enough I can push you this time. Push, go. Thank you. That was a little easier. If I remember to leave myself enough gap that I can actually get in behind the sheep, that helps immensely. All right. Did I leave? There I did. I left to bed. Good morning, Bee Silver Bee. Welcome aboard. I'm really glad you're able to catch the stream today. Hopefully the time slots will work for you. Some people said they had a little trouble just because it tends to be during some people's business hours, where they're in the middle of working and have to go to meetings and stuff. So if you ever have to lurk, or if anyone else has to lurk or disappear, no offense taken by any stretch of the imagination. And glad to see that we've got some new faces for once in a while. Looks like we've got 2 new followers, including yourself. I don't know if I remember to say hello to Mint Biscuit. I think I did, but never hurts to say hello a second time. And we're going to get ourselves some more sheep and see if we can get them wrangled in here. So during the week, I tend to stream whatever the hour was for you guys locally. So for me, it's 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And that's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are Minecraft, whereas Wednesdays are anything but. Right now I'm doing Abduction by Cyan, the makers of the Myst series. But we'll have to see if I continue doing that. I'm enjoying it, although it's a little bit of a weird game. It's my style, but hasn't been regularly my style for a number of years, so we'll just have to see whether or not that works out. Oh. Today is not my day, is it? All right. One, two. Mr. Sheep, are you going to come in? No, I don't want to do that. And I want your attention, please, and thank you. You're not going to give me your attention when you're stuck in... Yes, I know. You can go down. Down in a hole works just peachy. Fine. You can spin in circles, too. That's apparently rather effective. Okay. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, Mr. Sheep, Mr. Sheep. Well, at least I can laugh. Oh! Yes, I know you're not going to want to be in there when I do that to you. I got it, I got it. I know. Go. You know, if you'd stay out of the way... Well, okay, we didn't see that. Don't tell Sheep Queen I did that. Oops. Yeah, that... Well, actually last week when I was off stream, I was trying to get rid of a golem that had walked its way into the sheep pen. Unfortunately, said golem decided that he was going to walk right in behind. Okay. Guess I have 3 volunteers this time. He was going to walk right in behind a sheep just as I shot the arrow from my bow, and well, flame kind of, yeah. And then of course my inventory was too full to be able to pick up the pre-roasted dinner, I guess we could say. Oh well. The antics of sheep wrangling, I guess. I'm kind of glad I didn't do this on a weekend stream. Simply because, 1, 2, 3, I need 1. And 2, you aren't paying attention, so you don't get to come with me right now. So on weekend stream, this would be a little bit more annoying because I put a lot of pressure on myself for the weekend streams. Okay. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna lock you in a little earlier. Or I get myself into trouble. Maybe. Let's just take that out. Nope, I can't make that jump today. Goodness gracious. Okay. Let's just keep you there and take out the dirt before I try and lock you in. Are you going to stay? Yes, maybe? Well, that'll work. Thank you. I think I learned something. Maybe. We'll see. Alright, so let's try 2 blocks. Oops. That's not gonna work because I have to get myself up there. Let's try that. Okay. Let's see which volunteer will come next. Good morning, Neon. Hope you're doing well. Alright. So one of the things I'm looking at doing, I mean, a lot of people like to name things after their followers and so forth, and I'm thinking for the stream weekend, I'm going to put in a redemption that allows people to give wacky names to my sheep. As long as they stay family friendly, then I'm totally okay with that. So we're going to go with that. There's not a whole lot in the way of points at the moment. It'll probably be something simple, like just to get them all named up, probably about 100 points maybe. So we'll see if that's enough to get a couple of names in these guys. Hello, sheep. Are you going to come before I... Yep. Okay. So there's my trick for the day. Let's get out of here. So if I can repeat that for the rest, then we should be able to get this one done up quite quickly. All right. Okay. Yes, I know you want it. You can have this in a second. Jeepers. Fussy. Fussy, fussy, fussy. You gonna walk yourself in? Yep, there we go. All right. So it looks like I've got a bit of a system for the day, at least. I have a suspicion it's probably something like what I did in the past, but I cannot for the life of me remember. Okay, we've got one more in this row, then we can tear everything down and move on to the next row. Oh, let's see if I can... Actually, I don't need that lead right now. I'm pretty certain I've left a trapdoor on the ground in my haste. Yeah, I did. Because I end up with too many volunteers, but that's okay. Okay, let's get over this way. Get everybody in the back wall. And we will take that volunteer, whoever that was. And this volunteer. Whoa, whoa, 2 volunteers, not 3, please. Okay, here we go. Do. Music is chill this morning, like really chill, so I may have to kick it up a notch. Let's see what we can find here. Do. So I'm also looking for a couple of cool sounds to put in for the weekend. I've got a new one, but it's not all that exciting, to be honest with you. Let's see. Do I have anything interesting on here? No, I did not. Oh, there it is.
Save my little broken body.
And you can imagine I was using that an awful lot, test running it yesterday, working on this thing. So we've got the front going, but I'm just really unhappy with the shoulders and stuff, so I was ripping them out, working on the sleeves. So hopefully we'll have that ugly monstrosity finished fairly soon. All right. Oh, yes, can't do that. Oops. Okay, let's take 1 volunteer. 1, thank you. Okay. So, I'm hoping that you will finish up the group by following everybody else. Can you? Thank you. Excellent. And see if we can do this without hitting you. There we go. 1 row down. All right. So I'm starting with all white sheep to begin with, but I'm actually going to turn the first 2 rows into one of each of the 15 other colors that aren't white, obviously, to start with. So these 2 rows are going to be the colored rows, and then those other 14 are going to be just plain white sheep. Because, I mean, it would be really nice if we could re-dye wool, even within reason, based on color wheel. So, for example, it would be nice if we could take, red wool and then add, like, blue lapis dye and get purple and things like that. Or if you've got black wool and you start adding white to it, then you get gray. I mean, that would be really, really nice. But, very wishful thinking on my part. Okay, I'm just going to nip inside, have a quick nap, and get back to it. Yeah, trading with the trader works. I mean, that's another good way to do it. But, yeah, I purposely made sure that my trader is accepting white wool so that I can get rid of any excess if I need to. And I figured just having 1 sheet pre-done would mean in a pinch if I just need a piece or 2, then I've got what I need, rather than having to worry about batches or not having the right dyes or whatever. It's one of those things you always seem to need a bunch. And besides, in a pinch, rather than like terracotta or something, I can always do a statue in white if I needed to. Although a wool telephone might be a bit excessive. All right, let's take that. Do I have that? Okay, good. Clean up some of the mess as we go. And we'll start at the far end on this one, just like we did on the last one. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm gonna need... Oh, I finally got something inside. Oh well, whatever. You can stay there. I've been at it with the silk pajamas for a while, and nothing had managed to spawn in there, so I must have accidentally picked up the torch yesterday. Either that or strange enough, either that or he spawned in the crotch and fell off, in which case, what he's doing up there, I do not want to speculate. But, yeah, if he wants to be grumpy and grouchy because he's stuck inside somebody's pant leg, that's up to him. Mer. Mer. Oops. Okay. So yeah, I've got company this morning. My daughter Sheep Queen is home from school today because she just had a little bit of dry cough that she could not kick. And we figured it was probably best, given the culture these days, but everybody and their dog still being scared of COVID, even though they're going back to not making masks mandatory. They're still more likely than not to send them home if your kid has a mask, or not a mask, sorry, has a cough or a sniffle or whatever. So I figured it was probably better in the long run just to have her home, see if we can kick it. She's, had the meds and whatever. But normally, the teacher is really good at getting the classroom assignments posted up online in Google Classroom ahead of time. I think it's just because we had a long weekend involving a teacher's convention for the teacher last week that she just has not had the opportunity. So my daughter's off doing other educational activities that mom and dad have picked for, and I was not so sure she was super keen on them initially. But I know she's off reading a book and doing some educational math websites and stuff, so but she's not watching me stream, and thank heavens for that, considering how many problems I was having with the sheep earlier. Alright. You ready? Okay. Come in, let's go. So let's see if we can repeat the success from the other few pen slots. Okay, and up. You're gonna fall in for me, please and thank you? Yes, okay. So that's for next time. What I'll probably do at some point, actually, is underneath the center rows here, just so I don't have to run on the outside, I may end up just taking a bunch of hoppers and just filtering all the white wool at least down to the other end, because I can rather than any other reason. All right, let's go get some more volunteers. No, actually, one of these times I'm going to end up with not the right number of volunteers and be out of leads. So let's grab those. More dirt. More dirt. Sure. That's where that one got to. All right. Oh, I forgot to look up the good news for the day. So something I'm going to start trying to do, just because I can sometimes blank on things to chatter with you fine people about. I'm going to be using the good news, some sort of good news of the day website. I've not settled on which one because I've got about 6 I was looking at, but there'll be hopefully some sort of probably cheesy good news story of the day. So we'll see how well that works out. Just gives me something else to touch base on. I'm hoping eventually we'll have more to say as well. Oh, actually, derailment. So last Thursday, I was trying to upgrade my iron farm from social to the scare mechanic, and was having a horrible time getting the golems not to spawn rather literally in the walls or get pushed into the walls. And I didn't realize initially that they were getting pushed, so I was asking around for some suggestions and assistance on why these guys kept being in the walls. Turns out, I don't know how well you can see this on the water, but turns out that modifying the farm the way I did works all well and good, except that the water had just enough pressure from one source block to cause... Hello? From one source block, sorry, to cause the... Okay. Let's do this the other way. To cause the golem's aim is to get shoved into the wall. And that was not high on anybody's list. So, I ended up having to figure out that I could put more... Hello, there we go. More different, can't even remember the word today. More water sources. There we go. Sorry, too many things. Do I have another one? 1, 2... Nope, they're all there. Okay. So I had to put in 2 more water sources and then raise the first one in order to get the water pressure to scrape the golems off the walls. But that allowed me to go right back to a nearly see-through tank so that I could watch those sorts of things. I was actually enjoying being AFK inside the building, watching the farm. It's got a day-night sensor so that the zombie in the middle drops down, and then the villagers can actually sleep, because I found if I don't do that, then the villagers tend to, after a while, they just stop spawning golems, so I have to let them sleep to refresh, and I figured it was just easier to put a daylight sensor in there. Okay, let's keep you guys here, and grab all your leads. Oops. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, you guys are going over here. Number 4. Okay, excellent. So yeah, that was what I did. Is I've gone back to the all glass format, but in the meantime, I tried 4 different kinds of materials and double layers and a whole bunch of other silly stuff. And it was a bit of a fail parade until I figured out about the water, and it was a bit of a facepalm moment, because the version that I had used in the past with a similar scare mechanic layout, actually it had the top have a corner of it chopped off so that you could actually have the water source go in the correct direction, but and not scrape things on the walls. But unfortunately, the challenge with that version was that you end up losing some of the golem spawning space. So yeah, I learned a lot about water pressure mechanics. I was not aware that that was a thing that we needed to worry about all that much. I kind of figured walls would be walls and that you couldn't actually push a mob straight into a wall. I was hoping they'd be a little more solid than that, but you know, if wishes were horses and all that jazz. How did I end up with one less? There we go. So yeah, I learned a lot about iron farms and felt like such a moron when I finally figured out what was going on. But I still did end up double layering the corner with the lava blade, simply because that one, it seemed like every once in a while when a golem would fall over, his iron drops would glitch through the wall and end up on the ground. So I've found that by putting the second layer of material there, that definitely kept it from happening in terms of the iron would go properly into the farm rather than spilling all over the place and despawning. Okay. So it looks like that second block of height for myself and then lean back seems to do the trick with getting these guys to behave. There we are. So if I can get this one in, then I'll go have a nap real quick, and we can move on to a few more volunteers. Can I do this without having to put the second block in? Nope, not quite. That's not so helpful. Thank you, Brian. Don't remind my unofficial designated sleeper. Okay, bud. Come on, see me. Thank you. See me still, right? Now fall in a hole, please. Come on, there you go. More volunteers. Here you are. I've been lucky so far this season, just in terms of things like leads. I haven't had to make any, because every time I've lost them and need new ones, it just so happens that the wandering trader will show up. Oops, no, that's too early. It's not going to work. Yes, I know. Could you please go back? Thank you. I don't want to hit you. It's not... There we go. Yes, the wandering trader shows up, and twice now he's actually scraped off the... That's Alex's job normally, yeah. Twice now, though, the wandering trader shows up outside the long building over yonder and decides to go around the corner, scraping his own llamas off leads. So if he's going to do that job for me, I'm not going to argue. There we go. I always find it amusing. These things are very clearly larger than 1 by 1. And so they stick their heads in the glass, but they never suffocate when you do that. I think quite a number of players would be in real trouble if Mojang decided to change that mechanic such that things would suffocate when they did that. Just because we'd have a whole bunch of mass farm deaths. I was looking for volunteers. Right, that's what I needed. I'm still getting used to where my microphone is, so every once in a while, because it's in my peripheral vision, like a bug, I will lean back to try and get it more, I guess, in focus, in view sort of thing. But then I end up talking straight into it. So if the popping and the hissing goes in and out and changes a little bit from time to time, that's the excuse I've got, is that I've been leaning around it, just not quite used to it being there and fully able to ignore it. All right. Let's see if I can get some volunteers without having to let too many out. Aha! Let's do it with just, actually. You want to volunteer today? Come on. Yeah, you can do it. Alrighty, Roo. I'm sure I've squirreled somewhere along the line that I was talking about something, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. You don't remember either? No? No? Okay. That wouldn't have helped much if you did remember. It would be a very bad joke. Right? Alright. I'm kind of glad that the sheep can't break their lead when they're following you, just because they want the wheat. That would make things just a little more difficult. And bibbity bobbity boo, we are in. Alright. Next. Oops, too soon. Back up. And there we are. It's funny, it seems easy once you know what you're supposed to be doing. I'd originally planned for 40 sheep, and I was laying out carpets and stuff, but by the time I started putting in the dispensers and everything else and spacing it, it was just not going to fit. So we ended up with 29. There may be some voluntary escapees afterwards. I think it's probably better. Besides, I've already had my atonement sheep that I need to apologize for. Maybe I just let the others go. But it also, somebody had reminded me, actually not somebody, the somebodies known as Illagers have decided to pay a visit. Apparently their outpost just off this side, which is oh yeah, there we go. You can just start to see a little bit of the mess down on this east side. they've decided to start paying me visits. So apparently I am on a patrol route after all. I can get to just about the backside of, about the backside of that yellow blob there before they start to notice me. So I figured just to be on the safe side, when the sheep are gone, I'll just fill that same pen with cows instead. You know, and probably learn to be organized and start carrying a bucket of milk around. Just because it never hurts, but I'd really rather not have a raid at my base. Well, one, you can see I'm woefully unprepared. And two, I don't need that many banners. Or experience with villagers. They can stay far away, I'm okay with that. Okay. Oops. Wrong key. Here I am. I don't play abduction till tomorrow. And I'm already hitting the keys in that combination. We're having a grand day with that one. Okay. Are you coming? Do you want to volunteer? Take you, and I'll take you, and I'll close the door. Oops. Shoot. I'll take you too. Okay, who have I got? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, what? Fine, you'll do. You will do. You guys coming? All right. So early on in the game, I was whining about not having enough iron, and now I have plenty. If you're not going to listen, I'll just have to make you. Come on. Thank you. Yes, I have plenty, which is nice, because it's going to give me the opportunity to pull out the melon farms. I've never built an auto melon farm that was more than 2. I usually build the small ones that are automatic that just sort of set and forget, but I don't use them that much. So it's nice to have an iron farm that's now actually producing decently, so I can trade with the villagers with that instead of having the what's the word? Instead of having to worry too much about loading up on melons and stuff. And I really don't think it's as good a trade anyhow. Okay. Oops. Too far. Too far. Wrong one. Hello. Okay, you can come out. Let me in first. Thank you. Didn't realize I was that close to being done this row. I was feeling I've missed one. It really does feel like I've missed one, but I'll have to check and see. Nope. Got everybody, so this one's done. Let's take that out of there while I'm cleaning up a little bit. So these 2 rows we finished. These 2 rows that I finished are going to be my are going to be the colored. That's the word. Colored wool I'm looking for. Come on. There we go. But we'll worry about dyeing them afterwards. I may not even bother with it on camera if I don't have the dyes handy. So after this one, got a couple of other little farms that I'm going to be working on over the course of the week. So if I don't finish them today, we'll be working on them Thursday as well. I'm going to try and turn the wheat farm and the carrot farm into auto farms, where the farmers will do all the planting and harvesting and such for me. I've only done that once before, so I'm very, very rusty at it. But that said, it never hurts to have good practice, because you think you know how to do something and then it decides to teach you otherwise. All right. This one. Here and there. Let's take a quick nap while we're at it, though. I was being very, very nice and not, and sleeping for Max yesterday, and then I promptly forgot when he logged off to sleep for myself. And when I did that, then of course Phantom showed up and decided to knock me off the top there. That's part of the reason why I put in the little Rizzo Rat sound clip. Is just I didn't have a whole lot of opportunity to be leaving the Phantoms behind. Alright. Glad that the farm is catching up. When I put in a few in that first row, a few sheep in that first row, I did not think that they were going to start shearing properly, and I'd have to do it manually at least once, but nope. It did actually show on the observer underneath that they had eaten, so the farm was able to catch up. But I will admit I had a bit of a facepalm moment when I was building the farm here, just because I made the stupid mistake of forgetting that it's cheaper to make shears than it is to buy them with emeralds. I mean, it's convenient when you don't have a whole lot of iron around, so ultra early game. But as soon as you've got an iron farm, it's stupid in the extreme. So yeah, I just about put up a set of shears on the wall to remind me of my idiot moment, but opted not to. Let's put that one down. Okay. Ready. Let's get some more sheep. Are we ready to take one? You can stay. And you can come with. And I have no idea where my other lead went to. Oh, right. 3 in my hand, yes. Can't count. Can't count. One, two, sheep galore. All right. You gonna work? Yep. Okay, let's take that down, otherwise I'm going to forget. And do we have another volunteer? Yes. I can never remember whether sheep can path their way up glass stairs, so I didn't worry about it this time. But in future, it might have been smarter just to be on the safe side for me to actually use glass to climb with, but we're here now and this seems to work, and besides, things would start spawning on the walls anyways. Alright, time for more volunteers. Do. Wow, that music is way too chill. Just give me a quick second here. I'm just going to try and see if we can find something else a little bit more exciting. Let's try this one for a bit. Okay. We'll see if that's any more exciting. Okay. Volunteer time. That's interesting. Move. Thank you. I'm getting one volunteer? None? Come on. You coming? 1, 2, and 3. Why not? Alright. You know, and now that I got it working, that's so satisfying just to watch them. Though after seeing Max yesterday, he's using magma... no. I don't know. The lava brick stuff, magma something, magma block, I guess. Anyways, I don't use it very often, so I don't think about it. But he was using that to kill the golems, and I was vaguely wondering, pardon me if I can talk straight, whether or not I could shove that type of brick on top of a hopper minecart like I've done with the sheep farm, and then ditch the lava blade. It's an experiment for another time, but I don't think I can do that, but I never know till I try, because even when people give me a good answer, sometimes I don't always think about realities, and I seem to learn better by doing. Okay. Come on, sheep. Let's put you in. Thank you, Bee Silver Bee. You are rescuing me in ways that you probably very well understand. So, I was just asked by Bee to tell you how I got into Minecraft. Long story made short. A few years ago, I was with my kids, and Minecraft was starting to become a thing. Sometimes they were talking about it because kids at school were into it and so on. So my husband looked up a channel on YouTube that purported to be family-friendly Minecraft. So we figured, okay, that'd be a good place to check it out and see what it's all about. So we found a gentleman by the name of Phineas Rage on Minecraft, and basically what he had done was he had decided that he was going to teach his nephews who didn't live in his city how to play Minecraft. And that was where his channel came from. It was going to be family friendly, but he decided that he would just share them with the public rather than simply for his nephews. So that's how we started, was watching him do that. Then towards... Well, he has since quit Minecraft and does not play anymore. Actually, not Minecraft, sorry, let me say that. He does not make YouTube videos anymore because he's got a few other causes that he's interested in, and so doesn't give himself time to do YouTube any longer, and that's fine. But before he quit, he actually was doing some collab work with an interesting gentleman by the name of the Pigglesworth, and several of you are familiar with that name. So when he stopped doing, I'm trying to remember which one that was. It was one of the like Minecraft stories type of complete the monument maps, and Phineas Rage and the Pigglesworth were both posting their videos from their own points of view, but partway through, even before they finished, Phineas stopped posting his videos, even though there were more episodes. So we were curious about it, so we went to the Pigglesworth's channel to find more videos, and because we thought this Complete the Monument thing was kind of cool. I mean, it was mostly vanilla in terms of style, so we watched that. And of course, the Pigglesworth had their, at least as far as I'm aware, the remaining portion of what they had filmed for episodes on his channel. And then we liked his style. We really quite liked Piggy's style, so we stuck around and we're watching it. And when we started getting into actually playing was when Pigglesworth picked up on Sevtech, the modded pack. And oops, volunteers time. So sorry, a lot of ums, and so's. We got to fix that, or I'm going to start counting them. But anyway, where I was going with that was that we went to Piggy, and we quite liked Piggy, and we quite watching Sevtech, and then it seemed to have sort of a gated progression and so on that was a little bit more involved than simply the vanilla stuff that Phineas Rage had been showing. And I understand why Phineas was keeping it very simplified in his work. Are you coming? Okay, so yeah, I understand why why Phineas was keeping it simplified, because of course it was purposely designed for a younger audience, in terms of getting them into the game, and he what's the word? Ooh, oopsies. Okay. Sorry. So when Phineas had stopped, it was at a point where the game didn't quite sell me. I wouldn't have jumped into it at that point, at least not at that time. But when I saw SebTech, I thought, hey, this is kind of cool. I could do this. So I got my feet wet with SebTech. We discovered for the kids that on their iPads they could play Minecraft, and it was like $10. So that was a good experiment. And then, of course, it became family sharing accounts, which meant, well, not really family sharing accounts, but as in we could, once you paid full price for Minecraft, you could put it on more than one tablet. So that we decided, yep, they could start there, and I was going to get the Windows version so I could play SebTech. Well, at the time, they also had a bonus so that you could get the brand new Bedrock version, but it wasn't yet cross-platform. So we just said, yeah, great, we can get both versions for one price. That makes the approximately $70 Canadian far more worth it than it would have been otherwise. And so I jumped into SebTech, basically, I guess, is where this story goes, and that's where I got my feet wet. So then it was after I got to the same point DC did, where it was getting kind of grindy, and I didn't really enjoy the space part. I'm not a sci-fi kind of person in most cases, which means that I needed to find something else to do, and I decided at that point to try the vanilla game. Miss a lot of the features of having modded. I've played modded since. It's not something I prefer, it's just very different. But in any case, we kept watching Piggy, and through Piggy, discovered that Piggy was doing these things called monthly hardcore, which plenty of people are familiar with now, but the monthly hardcore challenges with a couple of interesting folks. So we started watching Dadcraft and Zloy, and that's how I sort of stuck with them. But how do I put it? We started watching some of Dadcraft's separate series. I can't remember quite which one it was that dragged us into Dadcraft directly. But I would definitely say that people's styles shift over time. And so now I'm not as interested in Pigglesworth's work as I used to be. No crime against him, it's just his style doesn't work. He was doing a lot more of a Let's Play style, and I like those sort of Let's Play things, even if you've got a bit of a personality, I guess, for your Let's Play. It worked well for me, but unfortunately he's got into story style in terms of everyone having to have some sort of, it's not even just lore for an area, it's like a storyline that he's built, and that doesn't work for me right now. On the other hand, I was initially turned off Dadcraft's work only because when he's playing on his own, he seems fine. He seems with it, more or less in control, but he seemed a little out of control when he was collabing. Sometimes he can get a little spicy, so every once in a while I take a bit of a break, but then I get into Zloy having a bad mood day, so you can't win them all, right? Everybody's got their thing, and I'm sure that I will have days where I'm complaining about something or other, or annoyed with somebody or other, or working with somebody going, oh, for Pete's sake, get me out of here. You know, I may even whine about being on fire. You know, that's something I do, but it just wasn't something that I was going to be hardcore watching every day. When DC started streaming, I decided I was going to check it out and just see what more of what his personality was like when he was doing off-the-cuff material. And I actually quite like the streams, and a lot of the maps that he does for his or even series pieces, I quite like those too. It's just preset storyline didn't work for me. I will admit, I'm probably not the only one who's well aware that DC appears very sick and tired of the old company storyline that was artificially imposed upon the series that he was working on with with Zoe and Piggy during the monthly hardcores. But in any case, yeah, so that's what got me there. And then I've had to do... Oh, good morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I've had to do a good number of Zoom streams and some of the, what do you call them, Microsoft Teams work as a result of working with Scouts during the COVID pandemic. And really thought, content-wise, I'm going to be playing games anyways. Like, I would still be doing this kind of play even if I wasn't streaming. So I apologize, it's not all for you guys. With that said, that I figured, I possibly could share this. And then I waffled back and forth, and Fantastic Sherlock Fox, my husband, has been encouraging me quite a lot to give it a try. I keep talking about it, and the kids were enjoying, not just my kids, but the other cubs were enjoying watching or enjoying having their Zoom sessions with me, particularly when I was showing them stuff, like we did an origami session, for example, and they seemed to like that. So Fantastic Sherlock Fox figured that I could probably pull off streaming. So he bought me a small stream deck for some cool buttons and whatever to sort of, I guess you could say, have a faux stream when I was doing my Cub Scout meetings, and I still waffled, and I got it all set up to use it for excess buttons or extra buttons on my keyboard and such, but never really did much with it. And then, of course, come, a year-ish later, I finally decided to bite the bullet and give it a try. I think first technical test was late November, and it was a dog's breakfast. December wasn't a whole lot better, but we got there. By about mid-January, things were starting to come together, at least a point where I felt I could have a bar where I would settle somewhat happily. Would always like to grow and improve from here, but it's not for viewers. It's not, I really enjoy having viewers. I really enjoy having followers, and the more the merrier. Very, very pleased to have that. Some of the cool perks of affiliate make things a little bit more fun, but it's not essential, and I'd still be here anyway. So I guess a lot of it comes down to, I want to share with people what I would be doing anyways, and even if I end up just being pure comedic relief for those that are more experienced, so be it. As long as they don't get too spicy about how dumb I am at times, then I'm totally okay with it. The Lost in Twilight. Is that the one, Dub Dynamite, is that the one where DC collabed with Zoe to do all of Twilight Forest? Thanks for poking me to share, though, B Silver B. I'm glad you found it interesting. I also really appreciate the poke, because sometimes I figure I've told people and don't always recognize that I've got new followers who may, A, have not have heard it, and B, I get a little self-conscious about repeating myself and even using repeated words sometimes, and it bugs me, so I will lose what little train of thought I had going. It's not even a matter of the train has left the station. We are talking about, like, the rails have been ripped up and everything else. So it helps to have someone who is willing to poke me every once in a while. In a magic sense, I know this is going to sound weird, but more accurately, in a performance sense, it never hurts to have a rube in the audience who's able to feed you stuff when you need to get going. It's like when you've got interviews, they're supposed to be live, and you need audience prompts. That's really what it feels like, and I really do appreciate when people are willing to ask questions about things they do. Actually, funny you should mention that. No, I played both versions of Minecraft, and a lot of it is that I played with a fair number of the same crew that are on the Java server now a couple of seasons ago, because DC at that point did not have a Bedrock server, and I just wasn't that time interested in whatever, I can't remember what it was he had for his modded pack at the... I knew I was going to do that. Okay, but I was not super interested in whatever he had in his modded pack at the time. But I was playing with the Java people for a while, And then when the mod had got refreshed, a lot of them bailed. And it wasn't a permanent bail, it was just that they wanted to do something else for a little bit. So I figured, okay, well, I wasn't into that, and I had this bedrock that I'd picked up, Coon's age ago for free, so I would give it a try and see how that went. So when DC fired up his bedrock server, I figured I'd, new group, new crowd, slightly new mechanics, let's give it a try. So I played all last season on DC's bedrock server, and one of the mechanics in bedrock that annoys the pants off me, and that's probably not the world's best phrase around here, but it annoys me a great deal, is the mechanics involved in bedrock iron farms. I do not like the fact that they have to basically act as their own village. I really find that quite annoying anyways. And the other thing is that they just have to be large. Like, I shouldn't say, I mean, I guess you could do small, but by the time you account for the spawning area of golems, they're large. And I did not enjoy that. The other thing is, I want to be more of a builder, but I'm not. And both servers are incredibly prolific with builders. Both servers are incredibly friendly if you would like a hand. But I just felt that the Bedrock server is full of really great peeps who build like crazy, and I felt really small. That's not uncommon. I feel like that almost all the time. So I decided, well, people in Java were a little quieter, just in terms of more or less not really being around all that often. Just the timings of the availability of people who were playing in the Java server were different and a little harder to share, I guess you could say, at the same time. So like you could make plans to overlap with each other, but there weren't people on at all hours at all times of day. Also, the other thing was sometimes things would be going on in the Bedrock server where people would be lagging out, and I would just want to go off and do something else. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with the game, but that my interest level was a little bit waning when I would have to be bouncing around. I mean, then came the yeet issue, where people were getting dragged all over the place in the Nether to realms far distant. So there was that one, and I was very much unprepared for that, being a less, should say less experienced, because that's probably not the word for it. Less adventurous, maybe, is probably a better way of putting it. Less adventurous player. So, yeah. The other thing is, yeah. So, anyways, long story short, great crew. I love them to bits. But I figured I would, now that I had a bit more experience and a bit less reluctance to go out on a limb after a couple of seasons of building rather ridiculously large objects, then I'd come back to the Java server so that the Iron Farm thing didn't annoy me as much and see how it goes. But by combining that with streaming for the first time and feeling that I want to have prep done in advance and stuff, I'm actually somewhat regretting my decision to try Java this season. What it really boils down to is that I like being able to do the cross-platform with Bedrock now that it's more all over the place. Yeah, more of an all over the place kind of thing. So that I could actually go and do prepare things for streams without having to always be on my computer. I've tried a couple of times doing some remote work from my iPad via like remote desktop materials and stuff, and the vast majority of setups don't work. What I mean by that is that I could probably do a controller. I've never managed to teach myself that part, but I have not managed to successfully get things to work through most remote setups. So it meant that if I'm doing grinding work in advance for a stream, it's difficult for me to sit and watch an afternoon YouTube video with my family in another room. And I'm not really a fan of that loss of time with them. It's interesting. I'd be curious to know, for people who do play controller on Minecraft, what their history was that led them to make that decision. The reason I say that is because one of the reasons I don't play controller is that I never grew up with a game system. And the games I played on computers didn't require a controller. The vast majority of the time, they're keyboard. So that just means that I've never had to learn controller. The first game system we've ever owned actually was the original Wii, but I would never call that a controller game system because the games that I own for that one, I think barring maybe 2 that I could think of, oops, what am I doing? Too much. But barring the couple of games, I think the vast majority of those games are ones that you hold the controller in such a fashion that it wouldn't teach you much about controller usage anyway. So I wouldn't count that. And then I'm only now starting to play some games on the computer that require controllers. Ah, yeah. So that makes sense, Neon. So if you started with, say, an Xbox or a PS anything, then yeah, it would make sense that controller would be something you could be a little more comfortable with. And then there's some that people that, even if they have, even if they have a full keyboard ability in some games, they're just, the muscle memory just works better for them. I knew someone once actually that was so right-hand dominant that they couldn't play on keyboards simply because they just could not teach their left hand to remember to actually press the buttons. Controller sticks for thumbs are fine for them, but they were not able to do like a WASD or anything like that. They just couldn't get their brain to really make their hands do it, which is interesting to me. But I guess I could see that. When I met them through scouting, so it's possible then that if I was to actually ask their parents, I bet you that they'd probably say that yeah, the kid had motor skill issues when they were younger. You know, so it's possible. But oh, we're almost done! Yay! Oh, really? I might be able to do it. I was going to say I'm one sheep short, but I'm not actually, because if I go grab the one in the field, then we should have just enough to finish this one up. Okay. So one sheep there, and then if I take this one out here. Oops, I don't want to have these in my hand though. Let's get that out of the way. The other thing I miss about, when I'm playing Bedrock, I miss the right hand. You know, a lot of players talk about that, is being able to do things in your offhand. Not right hand, sorry, offhand. I'm not left-handed, so it's, yeah. So a lot of players do talk about the offhanded stuff. But given that though, there's parity differences between the two games that I don't really like a whole lot. One of the things that happened early this season, I did mention it a few times in stream, is that I lost track of that again. Oh well. Oh, no. Well, whatever. Wasn't important. If it's important, it'll come back to me. And most of the time it doesn't. Ah, okay. That, now, yeah, B, you've got some great reasons why controllers might work better. It's interesting that you mentioned that about the mouse, because I've actually been through about 4 or 5 different mice looking for one that was ergonomically comfortable, and discovered eventually that I can use a relatively basic mouse. So for example, I've just got a Corsair one right now that's only got 2 buttons extra on the side, in addition to the usual scrolly wheel and other buttons. But a lot of it for me has come down to where I set my arm. So I was having some nerve issues for a while, and it turned out that my desk is actually at a slightly incorrect height. So if I don't have my hand farther back to make sure I sit enough on my forearm, then things start to hurt a lot. But I could see that if you had to do a lot of clerical typing as well, that yeah, that would make it interesting. I can't now, but I used to be able to actually tell you a lot of the different words you could spell with WASD, like rattle them off in under 30 seconds sort of deal. Oh, no, it's not that. I did get it. Okay, there we go. But another thing that's helped with the mental break between typing and playing with keyboard, for me, particularly in Minecraft, but in some other games as well, was that now that I've got a keyboard where I could pop the keys off effectively, then the one that I've got came with some textured keys for the WASD with a slight extra height on the edges of the gaming keys, so that when I'm playing, I'm less likely to slip onto the typing row, because it feels really weird to have no texture at all for a lot of letters. On the other hand, I grew up with a Macintosh, so one could say not even a real computer, at least not in terms of gaming. And Macs are, for their key positioning, when you're learning to type, they actually have a bump on the D key that you put your middle finger on, whereas Windows machines tend to have a little, like almost an underscore sort of shape on the F key, and that's like a distinct difference. So for a long time I was getting positioning wrong anyways and had to reteach myself, and I think a lot of the switch to keyboard gaming on Windows machines came during the period when I was teaching myself not to always have a button under the, or a bump under the middle finger. I'd have to switch that anyhow. So yeah, it's where you come from. Let's see. So Stoner Miner, I think what I've heard a lot of players do actually is, for some players particularly, the original cost of Minecraft can be a little daunting. So their first version that they get into is actually a pirated copy. And it sounds a little bit like Stoner Miner may have had something in common with Fishing Solo in terms of getting lost for days and losing your house. Yeah, I could see that. On the bright side, I've never had that happen, but, and there is this but, until I've got a really good feel for where I'm at, I tend to not go very far from home. Also, as you can see on this one, technically the world is vanilla Minecraft, but I play vanilla plus comfort mods on any time that I'm not going to get banned. So TC very kindly is not banning people for using mini-maps and compasses and so on and so forth. So far I'm in the clear, but should that change, then I'll have to learn other ways. I used to try and go with, navigation by the sky. That works really well. In a lot of cases, I found I've lost that ability quite heavily with 1.18 just because of the so much more up and down in the terrain, which makes it harder for me to find where I'm at, because you can't always see as much of the sky, or you're spending a whole ton of time underground, in which case navigating by the sky is absolutely useless. For those of you familiar with bees, I'm just curious, does anybody happen to know whether or not placing honey blocks places has any effect on how high your bees will fly? Because they seem to mostly have been the ground skimmers until I started putting blocks up on the front of that statue, and then they seem to be flying a lot higher now. I totally hear you, Bee Silver Bee. Because when I first started with my kids, I had actually, they were playing vanilla Minecraft and they were scared of mobs, so we played peaceful for them so I could play with them. But when I was playing for myself in SevTech, I will admit I stayed on easy mode for, oh boy, first, I don't know how many months, a lot anyways. And when I was playing, some of the mobs quite frightened me. Vanilla zombies, they're annoying, highly annoying, and too many of them, like getting rushed by a zombie crowd is not, it's not a walk in the park for me yet. But that said, I'm not nearly as bothered by it as I used to be. But I've been told a couple of times that compared to certain mobs that are in the SevTech modded pack, that the early versions of the Warden, thanks Yellow, and welcome aboard by the way, the early the early versions of Warden were supposed to be, simpler or as, I guess, on par with some of the mobs in the SevTech pack. I doubt it. I actually figure the Warden is going to kick my butt rather royally. I've also gotten much more jumpy since I stopped playing SevTech a number of years ago, so I'm not quite sure why I've gotten jumpy like that, but it's definitely the case, and not too pleased because it makes it awkward. For those that don't know me well yet, or at all, I guess, I absolutely detest spiders. That's something very, very basic. Both online and offline, I detest spiders. So I'm getting better at recognizing that the online ones are just that, fake online critters. But if you have an add-on like Mobens, for example, one of the first things I had to figure out how to do in terms of customizing the customized, I guess you could say, one of the first things I had to learn how to do was how to turn off the extra bends for the Moben spiders. The other thing was that I started playing around with texture packs. As you can see, we've got alternate versions of cows and so forth, because I'm using the Faithful texture pack. And unfortunately, there's a couple of neat ones I've used a few times where I like most of the textures. They even have some neat ones for the passive mobs and so forth. But when you get to the hostile mobs, they're leaning a little more grotesque. I think they're meant for the, tweens it up kind of thing. But because I have an issue with spiders, a lot of them seem to like to make the spiders look more realistic with multiple different eyes. Some of them will try and put pincers on the front and all manner of stuff like that. So you add that with the Mobens, and then the thing comes up behind you, and yeah. I really do not handle cave spiders at all well. So one of the first things I love doing, of course, is when I can get a villager trading hall set up, is go straight to the diamond armor, and then if I can avoid having to deal with anything that might risk having spiders in it, such as caves, great. I don't do it on a DC server, but when I was playing shared solo worlds, I guess, with my family, I actually used to use a Java add-on called Arachnophobia, which basically just shuts off spiders. Period. And that was great because, I didn't have to deal with them. Of course, you end up with challenges trying to get string. So, not going to happen. We're at 11:30, but I think I'm going to get a start on one of the other farms. I know that melon farms can be far more efficient if you're not doing them yourself. And I know that there are ways to deal with that. I know that there's... I've done villager farms for carrots and for wheat. And a lot of that is hoppers galore, and more hoppers and more villagers, which is not high on my list. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the bamboo farm and the sugarcane farm, and we'll see where we get to before we close off. Yeah, arachnophobia is not fun. It's not I'm not at a sort of paralyzed disability level, but if somebody wanted me to easily, with no effort, do COVID spacing, all they have to do is be carrying a spider. Yeah. When I was younger, one of my friends in school, like in high school, decided that they were going to bring... Aw, cute cow. They decided they were going to bring their pet tarantula to school. And of course, needless to say, I was not keen on being near that person's pet tarantula. And then she decided that one day after school she was going to let it out and have it crawl over our friends, which was fine by them. I stayed away. That was okay. But then one of the friends who had the spider crawling on him, and he was just playing with the spider, one of his buddies, our mutual friend, decided that they were going to just toss him a chocolate bar and called Think Fast. Well, the guy didn't realize he still had the spider on him, or at least he thought faster than that, and flung the spider by mistake So the thing went, and if you're familiar with anatomy of spiders, they have multiple heart chambers that are sort of on what we would think of as our stomachs. And so said spider flew a little ways and then went kersplat in a rather messy format. But the dumb thing decided, or maybe it was an auto response, I'm not sure, but it, with its exoskeleton or whatever, it decided that it was going to try and pick itself up. And that just freaked me out a lot. That wasn't where my spider phobia came from, but I can't say that helped. We'll put it short and sweet, that it did not help at all. So, fast forward a few years, and Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I were together in about 2002, I believe. And, I decided, like, I was working at a pet store as a shift supervisor, which was great, except that I was shift supervisor of the reptile department as well, which, as you can imagine, sells, you guessed it, tarantulas. So one night, we actually had a corn snake escape, and I thought, like, the reptile department asked me for help after closing to look for this corn snake, because they had to clean its pen, and then put the thing back. Well, and they told me, oh yeah, it slithers all over the place and it climbs underneath the shelving and stuff. They knew that I was scared of spiders, but for some reason, whoever was on staff had forgotten that the tarantula tank lid could get loose enough that if it didn't have a weight on top, then the tarantula could push the lid open and go for a walk. Well, as you can imagine, long story made short, it had done so. Somebody had moved the weight when they were looking for the corn snake and didn't get it put back properly. So I found the tarantula a lot quicker than we found the corn snake. Yeah, my boss was not too impressed when I just said I didn't want to have anything to do with that department for at least the next 2 or 3 days. So, yeah, but then the boss didn't really think that I should be working in a pet store with a spider phobia. I thought that was kind of dumb, but oh well. I quit that job voluntarily. It wasn't that they let go of me. I just didn't want to keep working there. One of the things about shift supervisors, of course, is you got to close up and you're responsible for making sure all the tills are balanced and everything at the end of the day. And I'm a little anal in that department, so I would stick around until I had reason to be able to justify why we were missing a nickel or a dime or something. And this is like in the days of when I actually used to carry cash, and I'd have coins on me. Sometimes, if I just got really frustrated, I'd throw in a nickel to balance everything and call it a day. It's like, whatever. Didn't really care. Other days I would stick around to sort that out. But yeah. So needless to say, I did not like the spiders at all. And so when it came back to Minecraft, poor Arch Thunder, when I was on the Bedrock server, I asked him if I could have some, not Arch Thunder, sorry, Iron Man, yeah, it was Arch Thunder, but Iron Man Hockey rescued me a little bit because I needed some string, and he said that he had a very safe, very standoff manual spider farm. So in other words, there was no way the spiders could get to me. And then later in the season, Arch Thunder had built another one where he used cave spiders, but he assured me that there was absolutely no way whatsoever that the spiders could reach me. And thankfully both were correct, but for a lot of people it's just, yeah, you stand in a corner, you hold up your shield, and you swing away, and that's that. Well, not so much for me. So I just... but at that point I didn't have many diamonds either, so it wasn't like I could just go and buy the string instead. So, yeah. Sometimes things kick you back. You would think that one would become more creative in using other types of products instead. No, I'm stubborn. That was the year I learned to make a bamboo farm. But I learned it in Java, and not realized in Java that both Java and Bedrock that you get a far better burn rate out of your bamboo farm, etc., if you turn it into scaffolding and then burn that, because it just bamboo goes up in smoke like nothing else, but the scaffolding lasts a lot longer. So, in any case, What a waste. I just took that farm down and realized that wasn't where I wanted to put the other farm. Okay. Let's try, let's see. That feels better. What are we looking at? Yeah, that'll work. I like having spacing between farms, but sometimes it makes more sense just to build it right in front of myself. Okay. Yeah. On Bedrock, scaffolding is way worth it on the string. Even in Java, it's actually a better rate because when I was doing Java pre-update, I guess, we didn't have the super easy drip lava farms. So, or at least either that or I had never built one. I have a suspicion it might be the latter, but it could be the former. Anyway, I didn't have one of these, and so I was looking for a convenient non-mineable or non-mined solution to wanting to smelt stuff, lots. And so that's why I built the bamboo farm first time around. Just looking for extras, see what I've got. So when I built the bamboo farm the first time around, I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with the consumption rate. And then, of course, when I came back after the experience on Bedrock, someone politely reminded me, yeah, that works well on Java too. You can slow things down that way on Java too. So, scaffolding can be used as... No, scaffolding can be a fuel source in your furnaces. I would show you that, except that I only... Because of lacking a string farm at the moment, I only have like 30 pieces of scaffolding at the moment, I think, which are all up the side of the yellow monstrosity. Yeah, but they can be, and so you get about, I think it's, I'm trying to remember if it's 8 or 16, something ridiculous of items, but it's much cheaper. I'll take your word for it. Well, the other thing about I had, I think 38 pieces of scaffolding, but it seems like every once in a while when I take them down, I miss one, because I've built up high enough that I don't see where that top one has fallen to, and then of course it despawns, so it's happened a few times. Stoner Miner says he has a safe farm of spiders. They get killed automatically, but there's a smiley face at the end. So, considering the number of totems that he and a few others have gone through troubleshooting his farms, I'll take that with a grain of salt to start with. It's there's a difference between safe and Delenn safe. The other part is I have a habit of stupidity, falling off AFK platforms and falling into things, and yeah. There was one time I was actually simply AFKing trying to, I think it was a cave spider farm, I think. And it was safe, in quotes, provided that you didn't accidentally take out the fence. Well, something fell on my mouse, and yeah, I took out the fence, and that was the end of me. So, if there's something dumb that can happen, in Canada we call it Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will. So, yeah. But that's okay. It's one of those live and learn. I'm hearing bizarre little beeps in my world, so apologies if you guys are hearing them, because I don't know where they're coming from. It's possible... I think my oil heater's mad at me, that's all. Okay. Where are we here? Oh, wait, I know what I was looking for. No, not those. I had a box full of... Okay, so I need observers, I need dispensers, I need hoppers. Debating whether, yeah, I guess this will be a railcart version, why not? Makes life a little easier. And some building blocks. Let's go with... Do you think I have enough stone? Alright. There's more buckets than I know what to do with. Give me just 1 second, I'm going to kill that beeping, I'll be right back with you on the line. Okay, I'm back. I'm not really sure where that is. If you get a sudden ceasing of stream, it's because I had to go and figure out what is beeping up, or what is up with the beeps. But I've shut off everything I can think of in the room that should beep, so hopefully that'll be gone. I know it's the season where, due to the age of our house, where just about all of the, what do you call them? Fire alarms, that's the one, smoke detectors, and such, want checking. And we've had a couple of them where the batteries have died, but unfortunately you can hear them in my office, but you can't actually access them or see them. So it's probably one of those things I'll have to check on after the stream, because we're almost done here anyways. So I've got, and I didn't bring the building blocks. Let's get that white out of there. All right. Good old Murphy came stateside too. Yeah, I'm sure Murphy's Law concept is elsewhere as well. It's just, it's not always called the same thing. So, I don't know if the Americans have a different name for it, or if they have, or if it was the Australians had a different name for it, because I know Joe was talking about it on Friday, our time, sorry, or Saturday morning, depending where you are. Okay, so if anything can go wrong, will. On the other hand, I mean, hey, that might explain why I fell into the sheep farm. At least it doesn't shear us. That actually would be kind of funny, though, if Mojang built in silly mistake damage. So things like you fall in with a dispenser and you're going to get clipped for like a half a heart or something. I would find that just annoying on one hand, but purely amusing on another. And I'm getting so turned around here. There we go. Okay. And I also forgot... Yeah, okay, I know what I'm going to need here. So we'll start with the bamboo version of the farm, and then I'll make the sugarcane one up on this platform in behind. And then that way, when they grow a little bit taller, they're roughly the same height in the final build. I'm going to start with the rails because... Well, maybe not the rails. Maybe... I have... Why do I have no space? Go when all else fails. Put down your chest. Adjust your, Yes, that thing. There we go. Okay. So I can always move stuff later. And that's going to be a chest. Both of which I did not bring. What can I use to fill in? Honey blocks. Sure, that'll work for now. Just have to remember not to step on them. I did not know how to use honey blocks before I started this season of builds. I'd never done anything whatsoever with bees. So it was an interesting adventure to use them on the terracotta statue because I don't have, or I was not aware, you could not jump off them. I mean, I've done it with slime, at least I thought I had, but apparently not. So, so I was trying to jump up and couldn't get up and didn't have anything nearby that I could jump onto other than honey. So I just ended up having to jump off. And that was an interesting experience because they make weird little squelchy noises, you know? I don't think you can hear it really well, but they make weird squelchy noises. Alrighty. Okay. Bedtime. Why not? Come on. It's almost nap time. It's funny, there's two different versions of Murphy's Law that, in terms of the story. The American one, I've heard the Edwards Air Force Base. I've also heard one that claims to be from Newfoundland in eastern Canada. They have more Murphys than you can shake a stick at out there. So people claim it's like so-and-so Uncle blah 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 Murphy or whatever. And I mean, I think that the Air Force Base one is probably far more likely. But considering the number of Murphys we've got in Canada, they could have just co-developed. And I mean, the other thing about Murphy's Law is if you don't have a law for it, somebody will make one up. That's the other thing about this stuff. Okay. rails. I know I'm going to have to change some of these out for powered rails, but at least the plain rails will hold space for me. And yeah, that'll work. And then the decorative stuff can go on the ends. Alrighty. So the nice part about bamboo, of course, is I don't need to have any water blocks with it. That doesn't necessarily mean I remember what I'm up to, though. There we go. And the fact that oh, no, I thought I'd put away all my dirt, but I hadn't. Yay! One thing I remember to do right. Okay. The other thing about bamboo is it grows fairly fast, so because I've got a good stash to start with, I'm not going to bother making this thing super high, nor super long. Okay, 1, 2. And I also seem to prefer having at least a 1-block border around just about everything. The intent was to have a 1-block border around the farms, but it didn't end up working out. So, yeah. Murphy's Laws are funny. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the, was it the crazy Ferengi laws of acquisition from Star Trek? And nothing super notable about them, except that it seems like there's a law for everything. Which is great, but if you don't have one, somebody will make one up, and they're all very expedient to the situation at hand. Nobody ever has any real rules, and it usually only takes well, as far as I know, there are not any Murphy's Law nerds that are trying to make an official list of Murphy's Law either in the US or in Canada. It'd probably be a somewhat fruitless endeavor if you did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, yeah, a really rather fruitless endeavor. And it's not dispensers I need. Silly me. You don't use dispensers for sugarcane. It's pistons. This is one of the reasons why I'm actually quite surprised when I managed to get farms built in less than a day. Okay, 3. Bunch of cobble. And then redstone and iron. Did I? Really? Okay, so it looks like I've smelted all my cobble. And do I have any redstone right now? No. Alrighty, so let's get that part. That's the easy bit. Well, I'm gonna say it's all the easy bit, but that's the easy bit. Sir. Do you want to give me a bit? Thank you. That'll do for what I need. And which one is this? It's the efficiency 2 pick, okay. Why I was holding that is beyond me. That was really dumb. Oh well, whatever. So, quick refresher for anybody who hasn't seen them going by, we have some great streamers on the all of the Dadcraft Patreon servers. We have a couple of them, including myself, but we also have Stoner Miner and Max Money. And then on the Bedrock one, here's your Wallow text for the day. We have quite a number on that one. And looks like I turned that instruction off. Okay. In any case, we have quite a number of people on the Bedrock server who are, willing to show up this weekend and actually help everybody out. And where am I here? Not help everybody out, pardon me. Help celebrate Dadcraft servers. Interesting. And in any case, we've got Huge Stormy Owl, we've got Swanky Potato, we have, oh my goodness, I'm going to forget everybody, and I do apologize dearly for those that I have skipped. We've got ITT Tom for sure. We've got CJRV Williams. And we've got Carnage Joe dropping in. We will have Creef giving us a shout. Yeah. Neon Traveler has dubbed the Dadcraft servers the DC73PS, which half the time none of us can actually say after about 10 minutes if we can say it at all in the first place. That should be enough to get me going. Let's put that up there and take one more stack. Okay. So yeah. Although I was informed yesterday that the server I'm on has become the coffee server, and just the whole Java reference, and the fact that those of us who stream more frequently from it tend to need coffee to get ourselves going in the morning. Oh, iron. Right. Can't do this without iron. Don't have a slot. Okay. Let's just dump something here so I can get some iron. So yeah, we had the DC coffee server and Dadrock. You didn't see that. That's not really there. That raw mutton doesn't exist. I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I don't really want to trash it. But on the other hand, I don't really want to have it around. I had made a deal with my daughter that I would try my best not to kill sheep, and because she's really unimpressed when I do that. Okay, what have I got? Can I do pistons yet, please? No? What did I miss? Okay. Oh, planks. Ha ha ha. Yes, planks. That's the only good reason for orange around here, isn't it? Thanks, yellow. All right. I really keep thinking I should label these boxes, but that would be planning ahead. And planning ahead is not usually something I do very well. 1. Alrighty then. Let's ditch another one. Back and forth. I just don't like cutting extra wood if I don't have to. So we've got great people coming up on the weekend. I believe I've got 2 slots, both at 5 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. my time on Saturday and Sunday. And I have not yet figured out what project I'll be working on. I've got a couple of ideas, but a lot of it depends on how many of these farms I get done during the week. They're not dependent on the farms being complete, but they're projects that are, the farms being complete are things that would help a lot along the way. And what did I just do there? Okay. Pistons. Right. I'm in the middle of the piston thing. Okay, so before I get myself too distracted here and start doing crazy things, I can use Bat's Heartwood data. Yeah. I could have purple acacia. The funny thing about the purple acacia, though, is for some of the builds I've had, it doesn't work. I'm going to change out this roof eventually anyways. I think I'll probably go to like the teal look of the oxidized copper, and the god-awful faux mob farm is going to come down. I may replace that with another mob farm. I have yet to decide. I keep saying I'm going to, and then I chicken out. So people say, go for it. But, you know. And the other thing is, I looked at the library building in the purple heartwood. While the gates look better, the red strip along, well, the reddy orangey strip, depending on your vision, along the bottom just didn't really work for me in this biome with the purple heartwood. So, yeah, guess that's the majority of what I was up to for today. So for those of you that missed the dates, I know I need the proper schedule, but for those of you that missed the dates, the Patreon server stream is on Saturday and Sunday this weekend, and we will be having one of them monthly. And each month we're actually going to showcase new art from one of the builds that someone has done. So, quick nap here. So this month's art you'll be seeing, if you take a look at Twitter, it's on there. I will definitely have a copy of this for tomorrorow for my stream. But you'll be seeing a lovely look at the finished museum from the Bedrock server. Stormy Owl did a fantastic job with it, and CJ RV Williams, I believe, I don't know if it's his picture or if he's just going to put the art together this time around, but definitely the museum looks fantastic in RTX style shaders. So they took a good look at those and it worked beautifully. Okay. I'm getting so distracted and turned around, it's not funny. But that's okay, this is bamboo, so we're doing all right. Tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, will be same time, so 2 hours ago tomorrow, if that makes any sense. So in mountain time, that's 10 a.m. mountain and running till about noon, we will be having ourselves some abduction time. You don't actually get abducted per se, or abducted, oops. But knowing Cyan, it's one of those places where you won't be seeing much of the aliens in the game. They tend not to do that. Come on. Yeah. So they tend not to put the aliens actually in the game all that much. I'm sure we'll be running into them later on, but they're not something that's ever going to come after you or you have to battle or anything like that. Cyan's games don't do that sort of thing. They're all about the puzzles. So, yeah. That's going to be tomorrow. I will be back on Thursday for some more silliness on farms, probably. Either that, or I will have decided what my weekend project is, and we'll be doing some prep for that. Can't think of anything else more at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I think CJ took the actual finished shot, but I was not sure because CJ tends to stream from his tablet, and they don't do RTX on iPads. So it made me kind of wonder if he's got it elsewhere, just chooses not to stream from there. Or there are some other shader sets that mimic a similar look to the RTX. So it's possible he could have been using those as well. I mean, I think Seuss did a very nice set, and there's a few other ones out there. Yeah. So in any case, but we have some very good art coming up. For the museum, for the Java server, part of the reason I have not showcased it is that technically you guys have seen it. What I mean by that is that Stoner Miner has done a really good job of building it into the train station in English. Okay, so he's done a great job of building it into the train station. In which case, you actually haven't really noticed that you've been seeing it already. So maybe on the weekend, one or more of the Java server peeps will do a bit of a quick drop by there, a bit of a tour. It's probably a good spot for us to be starting and ending, considering that we're not able to do the meetup at spawn type of thing that Bedrock does. We can for the three of us that are on the Java server, but when we're having a handover from Bedrock, it's a little bit messier to do things. So we'll just have to see what we can get going. So yeah. And we will have this farm probably fairly complete. If I can remember not to be... What am I doing? Remember not to be putting things in the wrong direction. So, hopefully Thursday will be a little more gathered and a little bit less scattered. No promises. But if there's anything that you guys would like to let me know in the meantime, you can always find me on Twitter, or because this is Dadcraft's Patreon server, you can also find me on Dadcraft's Discord. And you can also email me direct if you want, or about a day behind, sometimes a little bit longer, you will be seeing archives of all the videos on my YouTube channel, so you can always comment there. It doesn't even have to be on the associated video, as long as there's enough information for context so I know what on earth it is you're talking about. But I think I will just hop up here And no, yeah. See if we can get the sheep farm in the background, and then more or less, and do something dumb like jumping off. So before I lose my wits and end up staying up too late at night and getting myself eaten by zombies or some such, I will bid you all a great day. Hope to see you guys soon. If you have not already, feel free to do the thing and hit that follow button, and hopefully you will find something interesting. Otherwise, I wish you adieu, and let's see if there's anybody around to raid this morning. Not at the moment, so I will just head off for the day. So I hope everybody has a great day, that your day treats you well. If it's evening, have a great rest. If it's morning, good luck with your day, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks for dropping by.
Mischief managed.
Laters.